Okay. Hi, everyone. This is the SIG testing meeting for February 4th, 2025. Um, we don't have a lot on the agenda, so if you have anything, please add it to the agenda. If anyone new wants to welcome themselves, introduce themselves, that'd be awesome. If not, we can go on to the first topic. Okay, we will go ahead and jump to the open discussion then. Nikhil, do you want
Yeah,
to?
thanks. Hi, everyone. I am new to these SIG testing meetings. I have been trying to learn how to use Pro, how to contribute to Pro. I was looking into some open issues. In this SIG testing notes, I saw a previous discussion, which was about future focused meeting on Pro ownership. That was the topic. That meeting happened on 10th of December last year. So I just wanted to know if some of you were participating in that meeting, what happened there, and basically get to know more if there is something that could be helpful to me. So yeah, that is all. Just a question.
Ben?
Yeah, I think I was at that one. I don't think we had any super concrete conclusions yet. We agreed that it's a problem that we need to solve. And that also it's a little bit hard to just, directly onboard people into. We need people to contribute for a while and build some trust from the existing owners, even if they don't have a lot of time currently. We're still gonna have to bootstrap past that because like the sensitivity of it, we run all the critical infrastructure for the project on there. So like, Prow's code has access to like the Kate CI robot account that is org owner on all the orgs, that kind of thing. So I think we discussed that we should really get away from just saying, oh, like the TLs of testing and infra have this, or trying to call that there's like an on-call rotation, because this is all volunteer staffed at this point. Um but uh like that group, I think, to bootstrap it, we just need people to participate for a while first, so that there are some people that are obvious to say, you know, I want to add these people to a list of these. Um they all own Prow and also have access to Kubernetes' deployment. And one of the things we discussed is we also want to try to recruit some people that will be able to spend some time on Kubernetes' usage of Prow. Right now, most of the people that are participating because they have their own deployments, like OpenShifts. They've been helping out with just like the maintenance work in the repo, um, but they're not really engaged in how the Kubernetes project is running it. And that's become a little bit of a problem over time. That like when the Kubernetes project is running into problems, and recently we've had a few people helping out with that more, but I don't think we're ready to come back to that yet. There's also been another related discussion ongoing. Um, the Security Response Committee is interested in revisiting um, having CI set up for the private fork. So if you're not familiar, it's not very well publicized. Um, the Security Response Committee actually has a GitHub organization that's private, where the CVE patches are developed for like really bad vulnerabilities that are embargoed. And so those vulnerabilities get a patch developed, the patch gets shared to everybody who has met the requirements and signed up for the distributor list, so that like, all the big distros and things have a chance to push out a fix to users before the vulnerability details are public. And then those patches try to get merged into the main repo as quickly as possible once they're announced and released, or like as they're being announced, and so that they're available to everybody that's not you like using it. Like if you're just running from directly from upstream and you're not using one of the distros and you're not on the distributor list yourself, um, And so one of the problems is because they don't have all the testing, occasionally there's a problem where like it's not, the patch isn't like passing all the tests or something. But we did this in the past and we ran into problems where the people that trying to keep that totally separate doesn't work very well because you need to know what's going on with the CI so you can fix it, and you need to be able to see that instance. And so that would be another dimension of like we need to develop a group that has built some trust in the community that can be granted access by the security response committee to that private repo with embargoed patches, because they want to run CI for it again, and that means that whoever's running our CI and patching our CI is going to need to have access, because last time we tried to keep that split and that didn't work well at all. You really like we wound up shutting it down because it was just broken all the time, and it was very difficult to fix it without being able to see what was going on. So that hasn't moved forward yet. I think everybody has a lot of things going on, but I think those are the direction we're kind of thinking about these problems. So, I think the number one thing we need is we just need people to consistently show up. And that's going to be hard right now because the people that are currently owning the project don't seem to have a lot of time. And it's going to take us a little while to dig out of that, but at the same time, I'm really hesitant to just like immediately promote someone else because of the sensitive nature of the project and the potential impact. Um, so I think we're going to need a little bit of like a bootstrapping period where we can add a couple people that have some more time that have been showing up, and then I think once that happens, it will get easier and easier for more people to get involved, as you aren't blocked on trying to be involved, but then you can't get enough attention from the handful of folks that are participating. And I'm in that boat too. I have a bunch of roles in the project at this point, and I've been recruiting people to help out with all of them so that I can maybe step away from some of them. I haven't really had time to look at Prow, and I'm not currently an owner of that repo. Um, and I haven't really worked on that project in a while, though I used to. And I don't think I'm personally going to go back to that, but yeah, we're gonna have to get some more people in there. So if you're interested, um, this is a little bit of a tough time to get involved, but like I think the biggest thing is just we need people to keep showing up and proving that like they're engaged and build out some trust with the people who do own it currently. I'm not sure if any of them are in this meeting right now. I don't think so. But through the Slack and through the issues and the PRs on that repo, um, start to build some familiarity with the current owners so that they can think about that. Also, the project does have officially a path for this where you can start sending some contributions and then get sponsored as an org member by people you've been like who've been reviewing your contributions, and then you can sign up to be a reviewer of the code, which doesn't actually give you any special permissions or anything, but it will like auto assign you to PRs to take a first pass. That's something we haven't been doing enough of lately, but it's a pretty easy path by comparison. The bar to becoming an org member is not super high. The biggest thing is just that you need to have participated enough that two people from different organizations can sign off a +1. Like current members can say, yeah, I've been working with this person and they've been making patches and I'm familiar with their work, and like +1, they should be an org member. That's pretty much it. The other stuff is like you used to have to turn on 2-factor on your account, but GitHub requires that for everyone now. So we also ask that you join the mailing list for the project where we announce things. But that's pretty much it. There's not really much more to it. So that's a good like first step. Just like work on some good first issues and stuff, and then once you've got a few, like go ahead and um reach out to 2 people and ask if they'll sponsor you. They do need to be people who are like can personally vouch for having worked with you. There is that requirement. Once you have that, then and you're an org member, then you can start proposing to PR yourself into the owner's files as a reviewer so that you get assigned to review PRs. And that's a really good way to start building some trust beyond just some initial contributions. And it's technically supposed to be a prerequisite to becoming an approver who can actually approve merging changes, is that you've been reviewing this area for a couple months and have some contributions. It is still up to the current approvers to do that. And I'm hoping, SIG testing leads have avoided interceding on this sort of thing as much as possible. We'd like to, foster projects and let the people who are running those projects run those projects. But I mean, if we have to, then we can do something about that. But I would like to start with people trying to work with the owners of Prow that are currently listed. But
Thanks.
if that's not working out, then we'll do something.
Yeah, thanks. That provides the much needed context. I have just one more additional question about this security response committee. Whatever they request, I could not understand about what you talked about much because I'm new. So if you could share any documentation or any links
Yeah.
if it exists, that would be yeah.
I'm pulling up a link right now for the docs for that project. But basically, if you report a vulnerability to a Kubernetes project, it goes through this group. So we've got a group of people that are trusted to handle vulnerability reports. We have kind of a hybrid approach there where I'm also on this I'm on the steering committee for the project. The current members of the security response committee since the initial bootstrap will nominate people that they've been working with, and then the steering committee will review that, and we have people. So there's a group of people that they handle like the bug bounty and security reports. So they're not necessarily authoring all the patches, but they're overseeing all of that and triaging security reports. And they're interested in getting the CI re-enabled for there's a private copy of Kubernetes officially owned by the project that only the security response committee and anyone they've tagged in on a fix have access. So for example, there was a pretty big vulnerability in Kubernetes some years ago that involved volume mounts. And so they asked a couple of people from SIG storage that were active maintainers of that code to help write a valid fix for that vulnerability. So those people were like temporarily granted access to see the private patch repo until the patch is sorted out. And then once the patch is complete, then the vulnerability gets announced first to the private distributors list. And there's a process where you can sign up if you're like, I'm running a Kubernetes distro and I need to know about vulnerabilities. And that goes out to that group first. And then once that's been announced, after some brief period for them to ship that patch, those patches get merged into the public main project, but they still need to pass tests and stuff. So there's some concern that they aren't always confident in the reliability or quality of the security fixes because they don't have all the CI that we're depending on to make sure patches are high quality in the main project. So there's been a strong request to re-enable that, which will put further pressure on we need to bootstrap a group that not only owns the Proud code but the deployments and everything and can see everything is running, including this private security fixes. So I understand that that's something we'll need to do, but that makes this problem even harder. We're okay, we're going to increase the scope of this custom CI again to include private security patches. And so now we need to be that much more careful about how we manage this.
Thanks for clarifying this. I was aware of the time constraints with the existing Pro members and maintainers, which is why I was interested in helping out and become a trusted contributor. Already started looking at some issues and making some PRs. not my best work, but starting up. So looking forward to it. Thanks.
I really appreciate that. I was recently at KubeCon North America, talking to anyone I could that I thought might be interested in this, trying to get people involved because I know there are a bunch of other deployments and people interested in the project, but we just haven't the like contributions have kind of dropped off over time, and we're in that kind of tricky spot where like we need to rebootstrap it. Some of our other projects I'm a bit more willing to just say, you know what, someone's been contributing for a short while. Let's just make them an owner so that we have someone so we can bootstrap out of it. I think Prow, unfortunately, is one of the few spots where, like, yeah, we'll have to build some trust over time because it just has access to everything. Because for most of the rest of the project, that's how we solve this problem. Is we say, you know, we give people like delegated access to limited amounts of things so that it's not such a big deal. But that's basically all implemented by our automation. And if it's not implemented in Prow itself, it's running on Prow most of the time. So like that critical piece actually has access to everything.
There's no delegating this one.
Yeah, so it's been really hard to like build those up, and in parallel I've been building people up in Kate's infrastructure, which is a superset of that, all of the like cloud accounts and things that we're running all of it under. So then, you know, the couple of people that have admin on those accounts indirectly now have, you know, also the CI and everything else, like our DNS for like Kubernetes IO and that kind of stuff. And I have managed to rotate in some more people there, but it's been hard to find enough for both of these spots, and both of those are like, yeah, we need to get like, usually I have someone contributing for at least like a year before we're talking about giving them more permission in these, because we don't want to have like a Gia-ting issue where we just hand over a permission to some new person on the internet and it turns out they're actually trying to hack everyone, you know, like it'd be really embarrassing.
We really need help. And
It's like we really need help, but we also like we're gonna have to be pretty sure. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Awesome.
Thanks. Thanks. Awesome.
Yeah.
That was nice to hear.
Thank you both. Okay, that is it on that one, I think. Does anyone else have anything they want to talk about before I think we wrap it up? Because there's nothing else on the agenda.
Yeah, I had asked a couple of people if they might be able to come last minute about Bosco's, but it doesn't look like any of them can make it. That's another area where we need help that's like adjacent to Prow, but a little bit less directly sensitive. We use that to rent out test projects for running end-to-end tests, and it's another spot where like Prow, we don't have releases and things, but it has that bootstrapping problem of like, well, to be able to really work on releasing it, a bunch of that is going to be like putting git tags in the repo and stuff, so people need to have like write access to the repo and that kind of thing, and it similarly just doesn't have many active people right now, and it doesn't have a lot of easy feature requests because it's mostly pretty mature. It's not a horribly complicated system. I mean, it's kind of intentionally fairly simple because it, you know, it needs to be really reliable. It's backstopping us not leaking projects. We've had problems in the past where like some project cleanup stuff doesn't work, and then not only does that cost money, but eventually you start hitting some quota limit in the project, like, oh, you have too many disks provisioned or something, and then all of CI starts to fall over, and usually that just builds the point where it is a cascading failure, that by the time that one of the projects is filling up, you've been doing it to all the projects since they're used at random, and then suddenly everything fails. So there's not a lot. We actually don't want a lot of feature development there, mostly like maintenance type tasks. So that's kind of hard to get people excited about. You know, upgrading to the new Go version or something is not as much fun as like building a new feature. But we also don't want to put a lot of features in Boscos because it being really reliable is the most important feature. It's managing all of the end-to-end testing accounts, and that's something the project does a lot. So that might be another way to get involved adjacent to Proud, but it's kind of similar in that there's only a few owners active. SIG-Testing, which I'm also involved in, has kind of borderline taken over that, and there's I don't think there's a lot of great like exciting but easy tasks at the moment. But like that's another one where like we need someone to participate for a while and take over, I think. For Prow, there's a channel as well in the Slack. That's probably the best place to get in touch with some of the maintainers aside from the GitHub. For Boscos, I would say somewhere between the SIG-Testing and SIG-Testing channels. It's officially a SIG-Testing project, but because of the work to transition the to finish, which we have done to move the project's CI out of like Google and other company internal accounts to accounts managed by the project. So SIG Infra had to do a bunch of work around Boscos to prepare that, and so a couple of them are also stepped up as maintainers for now. So a couple of the Kate Infra leads. That's and it's commonly deployed with Prow here.
I guess that
Thanks for sharing. I was also looking into Boscos, but not much information I have there. So let's see.
I can give more context on that, but it's another one where like I worked on it years ago and I'm not sure a lot about the current state. But I like tell you about how it works if somebody you're interested. We could follow up in Slack or something.
Okay, that would be nice. You're actually looking for someone for giving like more hands-on on this, so that we get to start fast.
Yeah, I actually do have one interesting problem I filed a bug for late last year in that project. We could discuss that. Though you'll have to run any plans by the current owners.
Okay, we can discuss in Slack later. Thanks.
great. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks everyone. Yeah, feel free to ping me in Slack. I'm gonna have a little bit reduced availability at the moment. I have some vision problems I'm still dealing with, but I'll be in and out, and I'll get to you when I can. And yeah, it's just that Ben the Elder in the Kubernetes Slack.
Thanks. No worries. It's not urgent.
Well, thanks for showing up, everyone. Thanks for contributing.
Thank you all so much. Okay, I will go stop the recording and end the meeting. Thanks, everybody.
Have a rest of the day.
Have a good day.
Bye.
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 There goes.